Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yin Restorative Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and this is Luke. So let's begin in a comfortable seat. You may like to prop your pelvis up on a pillow or a folded blanket, especially if you have any tightness in your hip flexors, in which it may cause the lower back to round as you're trying to sit up. And then shift around as you need so that you can evenly ground through the 4 points at the bottom of your pelvis. Your left and right sitting bones, the front part, your pubic bone and the back part, your tailbone. And then as you just rock your weight through those 4 points, just feeling into the surface below. Notice how it feels to center yourself, literally center your spine, so that you can most evenly distribute your weight through those 4 points. And then go ahead and place your hands on your rib cage, holding the lowest part of your ribs as you press downward with the 4 points of your pelvis. Take a deep breath and lift your rib cage, especially the back. And then let your chest rise so you can even shrug the shoulders for a moment. As you exhale, keep lifting the rib cage, keep rooting the pelvis, and then roll the shoulders back, then down. Still lifting the rib cage. Inhale the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, release the shoulder heads back, then down. And then try that a couple more times as you begin to sound your breath out to your mouth. And then releasing the shoulders slightly behind your ears and down. And start to drop your chin towards your chest. With a slow inhale, rolling your head to one shoulder, tilting your chin up, exhaling to the other shoulder, tilting your chin down. And try at least another round in this direction. Moving very gently as you circle your head. And as you're ready, go in the opposite direction a couple more times. So notice as you're focusing on your neck and your head, how does your lower back feel? Can you still feel that pressing down through the 4 points of your pelvis and that lifting up of your lowest back ribs? And then find center through your skull, lifting through the top of your head, the back of your skull. Feeling that your chin is parallel to the ground. Softly glide your chin towards the back of your throat, keeping an open space at your throat and chest. And then now just let your hands rest anywhere that allows you to tune inward, physically, mentally, emotionally. Feeling into the natural flow of your breath. So I offer this quote from Dr. Henry Grayson's book, Mindful Loving. And the quote is actually him quoting James Allen in the booklet, As a Man Thinketh. Suffering is always the effect of wrong thoughts in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. The circumstances which a man encounters with suffering are the result of his own mental inharmony. Man has but to right himself to find the universe is righted. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will effect on the material conditions of his life. The power of thoughts. As we sit here beginning this physical practice, I invite you to turn your attention to your own mind. And just letting whatever thoughts come and go here as you observe what kinds of thoughts might arise. You might even simply label them. A thought of planning ahead. A thought of remembering the past. A thought of judging someone or myself. Just allowing a minute here as we write. maybe a thought of questioning this exercise. So I invite you in this practice today to bring attention to your thoughts, not as a means of evaluating them as good or bad, but to just become more aware of the kinds of thoughts that tend to arise. And you might be already aware of the tendencies of your mind. We'll talk about this a bit more throughout the physical practice as we open the body in hopes of helping to open our awareness of the mind and the energetic patterns of our thoughts. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. Bowing in a moment as you might set a dedication for your practice or identify heart-rooted intention or sankalpa. Sending our intentions out there as we connect through the ether. Let's sound the chant of Om 3 times. Take a deep breath. Allow your breath to deepen gently, filling up space throughout your body, beyond your lungs and belly. Soft whisper as you open the mouth, slowly releasing the breath, dwelling at the bottom where you feel the emptiness of it. Perhaps even slower inhalation, tracing the breath as it moves throughout your body. This time lingering at the top while relaxing your shoulders, relaxing the body, before slowly emptying again. One more time, lingering at the very bottom of the exhalation. And now beginning to balance a slow inhalation with a slow exhalation in length. Perhaps even closing the lips so that you start to warm up your body, preparing it to move a bit, to open up. And maybe even creating a gentle whispering sound by softly narrowing the back of your throat using the tool of Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breath. And as you gently open your eyes, release your hands. I invite you to come up to stand, facing the wide width of your mat. If you have a strap, please take that with you, and then we're going to hold it behind your back so that your hands have some space between them. Thumbs are pointing to the outer sides of your body rather than towards your midline. If you don't have a strap or anything like it, like a long sock, you can clasp your hands here, interlace the fingers, and then step your feet very wide apart, so wider than your shoulders distance. See that your feet are parallel, spread your toes on the ground. And then rolling your shoulders behind you, bend your elbows closer together as you take a deep breath, lifting your chest. Look up. Bending your knees very generously. Exhale and begin to bow from your hips, completely dropping your skull as you shift your weight towards the fronts of your heels. As you hold the strap or your hands are clasped, breath by breath, lifting your arms away from your lower back. Keep your elbows slightly bent and also lift your shoulder bones up away from your neck. And just to make sure your neck is completely relaxed here, it's not trying to hold the head up. Gently shake your head no a few times, breathing in. Slowly breathing out. If your hands are clasped, you might experiment with switching the interlacing of your thumb and index finger on top. It's okay. And then maybe nodding your head. Notice the spacing between your hands if you are holding a strap, perhaps exploring bringing the hands closer together or a little wider apart, and see how much space that allows your arms to move away from your lower back. Let's take about 3 or so more breaths here, just letting your head hang loosely, maybe even gently swaying your spine side to side as you bend one knee a little more than the other and switch. And then bending your knees a lot. Bring your hands over to your hips, and if you have the strap, still hold on to it. Knees bent, hands and hips, pointing the elbows towards the sky. Imagine you have a flat back, so as you inhale, the belly firms in and you lead with your chest to slowly rise. And then heel toe your feet closer together so they're about hips distance apart, parallel. And then we'll start to warm up the shoulders with a strap. So if you don't have a strap, grab a long t-shirt or something that you can hold with your hands spaced apart. Shoulders distance or wider. And then now holding it with the thumbs towards each other, place your hands in front of your lap. Roll your shoulders back and down again and notice the space throughout all the sides of your neck. Try to maintain that length of space. Seal in your front ribs. And as you inhale, slowly lifting your arms overhead, keep a taut grip on the strap and your elbows straight. As you exhale, slowly reaching the arms behind you. You might have to space the hands wider apart than they are. All the way down. Inhale, arms slowly lifting, shoulders keep relaxed. Exhale, arms forward and down. Now keep going at your own pace of breath, really nice and slow, mindful movement. Inhales to lift up, and the exhales to lower. Feel your front ribs sealing in towards your back body here, so there's no hyper arching happening in the lower back as you lift the arms. We're here for maybe 5 or more deep breaths. So as you're repeating this motion, notice what appears in your thought forms, if anything. In weeks past, we identified what was called the 7 mind traps. And if you're on our newsletter each month, I actually summarized them in a blog post and sent the link to you all just a few days ago. So you can look back into that if you want to review. But the 7 mind traps are identified in a mindfulness-based stress reduction workbook written by therapists. And they are common mental patterns, habits of thought that can cause and exacerbate stress. They're labeled as the inner critic or negative self-talk, catastrophizing, thinking of the worst case scenario. So it goes on to 7 of them. Let's take another 2 cycles of breath. In yoga, though there's physical practice involved, it's only one of the 8 limbs. The rest of the limbs are very much to do with the mind. And then as you finish this round, let's put the strap down. And then as your feet are about hips width, maybe a little wider, bend the knees, spread the toes, feel a sense of looseness in your legs here, looseness in your hips. And then we'll just at your waistline begin to twist. So you're turning the ribcage to the left. Inhale, center. Turning the ribcage to the right. Inhale, center. So notice the knees stay forward here. And then now just let the arms loosely swing along. Inhale. Now we'll go a little bit faster. So inhale one direction, exhale the other direction. Bend your knees any amount here to feel grounded to your feet. Now, as you let your arms really just hang loose, allow them to sway with the spine so that perhaps your forearms or your hands tap your lowest back ribs, the area of your kidneys. And we'll start to build some momentum here. So as you twist to the left, pivot your right foot. So lift the heel, turn in that direction, and then come back to center. As you twist to the right, pivot your left foot, lift the heel, and then we'll create that momentum. A few more cycles of breath here. So this is actually a Qigong movement that helps to give the kidneys a bit of a massage. And we know in that area sits our adrenaline glands, that which is responsible for the stress response when it is activated to create that fight or flight reaction. So just giving it some massage in this area, another 4 or so breaths. And simultaneously, you're loosening up your spine, getting some energy flow through those main energy centers throughout the spine, including right through the central channel, Sushumna Nadi. And then as you come back to center, just roll out the shoulders, let the hands shake out, let the elbows loosen. Begin to shimmy the hips left and right. Just get the lower back, the sacrum to loosen. Maybe even forward and back, or circle the hips a bit. Let the knees begin to loosen. You can even gently rub circles on the knees. Just waking things up here, and then shake out one leg, shake out the foot, shake out the other leg. A few more breaths here, just shaking whatever needs to shake out. What might be feeling congested in your body, and perhaps as a response to some thoughts, some pattern of thought. And so here's the grounding activity when you kind of just have to shake off the energy of something that you need to release. It's just like you're dusting yourself off. So start at the crown of the head. You're dusting off your shoulders, dusting off your arms, just getting that stimulation for the blood flow as well. Take it to your torso, the front and back, the sides, down through the legs. Really feel that contact. Is there anything, feedback loop in the mind that you may need to release? You could picture dusting that off. Let's take a few more breaths. So different self-regulation techniques, very simple. You can use them as you might need to change chapters in your day from one activity to another. Just letting go of certain mindsets. And then from here, let's come on down to our knees. Take your pillow, trace it down the midline of your mat. Take a block or two, place it at the top end of the pillow. And then straddle the rear end of the pillow so that we can come into a supported child's pose, bringing the inner edges of your feet to touch. Sinking your pelvis back towards your feet. Maybe your pelvis is on the pillow. And then as you give the pillow a bear hug, landing your forehead onto the block, adjust the height of the block or stacked blocks so that your neck has a natural curve. There's no strain in the neck. And feel into your shoulders here. Let them release back. Open up space across the chest, across your upper back. And then place your arms in a gesture of openness. I like to turn the palms face up, but see what works for you, where you can relax throughout your fingers, throughout your palms, and not feel like you're trying to hold your body up. And as we're in this position for about 3 minutes, I'd like to guide you through another breathing technique called box breathing or Samavriti Pranayama. Great technique for grounding. If you're feeling scattered in the mind or restless in the body, and you need to recenter. So it's an inhale for 4 counts, holding the breath in, which is called kumbhaka in Sanskrit, for 4 counts, an exhale for 4 counts, and holding the breath out, or kumbhaka, another 4 counts. So 4, 4, 4, 4. We'll try it a few cycles together, and then as you feel ready, you can just continue at your own counting pace. So let's take a deep breath to clear out. Open the mouth as you exhale. Inhale for 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold 4. 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold 4. 3, 2, 1. In 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold 4. 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold 4. 3, 2, 1. In, counting on your own. Take the pace that works for you, just making sure it's equal in, equal hold, equal out, equal hold. And let this be as relaxed as possible. No strain in holding the breath. If it does feel strenuous, let go of holding the breath and simply count an even inhale and even exhale. So finish the cycle of breath that you're counting. And as you're ready, crawling the hands towards your knees, press the ground with your palms, drop your chin towards your chest, hollow your belly, and with an inhale, begin to roll your spine slowly upright, stacking each vertebra at a time. And then from here, we're going to set up into a spinal twist. So using that same pillow and propping it on top of 1 or 2 blocks at the front edge of your mat. So you have a hill, an incline. And then have a seat so that you're sideways. Your right hip is flush against the bottom end of the pillow. Knees are bent. Slide your feet towards the rear of your mat so you can drop both knees to point at your legs. The legs are separated here. The knees are not stacked. And place your palms face down on the left and right sides of the pillow, turning your chest completely to face the front of your mat. You can slide the right hip further back if needed. Make sure that you're making any adjustments to your lower body, your pelvis, down to your feet, so that you can comfortably turn your chest forward. And then start to lower your torso on the pillow. You may need to place a folded blanket as a spacer at the bottom of the pillow so that you have something to hold your belly. And then turning your head to one side. Take notice of which side it is so that when we switch sides in this twist, you can turn your head to the opposite side. We're going to be in this position on this first side for 3 minutes, each side for 3 minutes. I've set the timer now. And just make sure that your shoulders, your arms are relaxed. Face is relaxed. Notice your jaw here. Like the bones in your body feel heavy, so they're resting with trust and surrender into the props, the physical support underneath. Now let's take a slow breath in, slowly filling up your lungs, your belly, your body, to your lips, slowly emptying the breath. Trying that a few more times, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. So that with each breath out, there's a greater feeling of surrender, of arriving here, of cultivating santosha or contentment right here, right now. Like there's nowhere else you'd rather be in this moment. And then again, tune into whatever rises through thoughts. Paying attention with a caring curiosity. No need to judge the thoughts, just become aware of them. Now begin to slowly press your hands into the ground, gently lifting your head and then the rest of your torso. Leave your props exactly as they are as you start to turn to face the rear end of your mat. Sitting for a moment to pause in stick pose or dandasana, where you extend your legs forward, place your hands alongside your hips. Just allow a moment to feel your spine come back to a more neutral position. You might visualize breathing in from the bottom of your spine and lifting the breath up slowly to your crown. Out from the crown all the way down your spine, exhaling to the base a few times. And if you are practicing that, notice the effects. Of visualizing your breath moving up and down your spine. And as we continue to face the rear of your mat, bending your knees, step your feet on the ground so they are wider apart than your hips distance. Let your knees be just as wide apart. Then drop your knees to your left side, which is actually your right wall. Keeping your legs there, turn to face the front of your mat again, framing the pillow on the left and right sides with your hands. So with your left hip now flush with the bottom end of the pillow, turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat. Make any adjustments from your pelvis down. And then slowly start to lower your torso onto the pillow, maybe adjusting the blanket, turning your head to the other side. And I'm setting the timer here for another 3 minutes. feel into your neck, feel into your shoulders, your arms. Let them all be soft. Again, take a deep inhalation. And to your mouth, slowly let it go. At least a couple more times. With each breath out, inviting your body to relax even deeper. Inviting your mind to relax even more. And again, tuning in to whatever may come up in the canvas of your mind. What's there to be aware of in thoughts? Do you notice any predominant types of thoughts? Let's finish another breath here. And as you're ready, pressing your hands onto the floor, very gently lift your head, torso. Come on up to sit. This time bringing the soles of your feet together and bending your knees apart. So we won't be in this posture too long. Coming into bound angle or Baddha Konasana. Take hold of your big toes or your root through your two sitting bones. Take a deep breath as you lift your rib cage, open your chest. Relax the shoulders, and then exhale, begin to bow from your hips. You may like to walk your hands in front of you, pressing the sitting bones deeper towards the earth as you inhale, while you lengthen the front and the back of your spine. Shoulders melt down as you exhale, maybe folding a little more. About 7 more breaths here. And then gently press the belly towards your spine for some support in your lower back. You're going to walk the hands towards your legs as you inhale, lifting from your chest. slowly lift your spine. So let's move these props aside so that we can come down to hands and knees. We'll take a few very slow cat-cows just to help the extension and flexion of the spine, loosening the shoulders and neck. Make sure that your knees are a couple inches behind your hips, while your wrists are just under your shoulders. Spread your fingers brightly. And on an inhale, draw your heart slowly forward through your upper arms, rolling the front of your shoulders behind you, blossoming your chest up, tilting your gaze up. Take the entire exhale to slowly contract your belly, tucking the tailbone underneath, dropping your head as you spread the shoulder blades across your back ribs. Again, inhaling, draw your sternum forward, roll your shoulders back, lift and broaden your chest. Exhaling, pull in the belly, tilt your pelvic bowl back, drop your skull. And take another 3 to 5 more slow, mindful cat-cows, listening to your breath. From here, we'll lower down the chin, slide the belly, pelvis, legs to the ground, entering Sphinx pose. So as your legs are straight behind you, walk your elbows forward until they land just beneath your shoulders, so that you're able to fully lift your chest off the floor and see that your forearms are parallel to each other in front of you. Palms are face down. Then bring your knees as close together as is comfortable. Fan your toes apart on the ground and reach your big toes far back towards your rear wall in an effort to feel your lower spine lengthen. Press your pinky toenails into the ground as well. And as you keep those energies in your toes, your legs, your lower back, keep your forearms still. But imagine as if you're dragging them back towards your hips so that you can feel your shoulder heads roll back behind the ears as you press them downward, lifting and broadening your chest. Now draw the navel slightly inward towards your spine as you do this. And then take a look at the floor just ahead of your hands as you lengthen the back of your neck. Softening your eyes as we take another 3 to 5 full breaths in Sphinx pose. You might envision the inhalation massaging your collarbones wider apart from the sternum at the middle of your chest out through each shoulder head. And the exhales massaging your shoulder blades to release down your back ribs. Last one, take a deep inhalation. Open the mouth, exhale. And place your hands back alongside your floating ribs. Pressing up to sit. Bring your legs out in front of you. So as you come to sit, you may want to grab your strap. Use it to wrap around the ball of your right foot. Bring the sole of your left foot onto the inside of your right thigh. but holding the strap in your left hand. So we're going to add a twist to head to knee pose. Place your right hand on the floor beside your right hip, and then press the ball of your right foot into the strap as you gently pull the strap. So there's a little bit of counter forces happening to help you elongate your spine more upright. Take a deep inhale, relax the shoulders. Exhale, rotate your sternum or your chest to face the right wall of your room just a little bit more, and then begin to fold diagonally towards the upper right corner of your room. Pause and inhale, reground your two sitting bones, especially the left. Lengthen the sternum towards the upper right corner of the room. As the belly presses towards the spine, exhale, you might fold a little more. Just see what's available. Just about 5 more cycles of breath. Now you might also be walking the left hand further down the strap, closer to your right foot, or holding your outer right foot instead of the strap. You can also be walking the right hand forward on the ground. Now notice the space through all the sides of your neck here. Can you keep it open even if it means backing off a bit, not bowing so much? Do you notice any area of congestion or just any area where you can really feel sensation happening? Bring your attention there. You take a deep inhale. Let any sound release, opening the mouth. Draw the belly in. Inhale, lead with your slowly rising. Now let's take the strap and place it around the ball of your left foot. Bring the sole of your right foot high on your inner left thigh. Hold the strap in your right hand and place your left hand on the floor beside your left hip. So kick the left foot into the strap as you pull the strap. So use that to lift your spine, breathing in. Press the shoulders down. Exhale, twist to your left, and then reach your sternum towards the upper left corner of your room as you bow. With your inhales, pause. Press downward through both sitting bones, especially the right one, while lengthening the spine forward. And with your exhales, you might fold deeper, you might not. Just see what's there. Adjusting your hands as you need, like you did on the first set. Notice the space around your neck, your shoulders, your chest, honoring spaciousness. Is there any particular area of your body here calling for your attention? You might envision that area as you take a deep inhale. And through the mouth, clearing it out. Belly pressing in, lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. So now let's put the strap aside. Come to lie down on your back with 1 or 2 blocks nearby that you can reach for. And as you lie on your back, bend your knees, step your feet on the ground. Take one of your blocks to start by its lowest height, cross it underneath your sacrum, the flat part of your lower back. Now you may stack 2 blocks or you may tilt this block to the next level height, but let's stay here first so that you can feel out where we're going. Bend your right knee towards your chest, catching hold of your right thigh or shin, making sure your 2 shoulders are still on the ground, head is resting too. And then to whatever degree it feels okay in your body, flex your left foot and slide your left heel forward to straighten the left leg. Now keep your left knee and middle toe pointing straight up towards the sky so you're not externally rotating or turning out your left thigh. And then notice here especially what you might feel in the area of your left hip flexor, front of your left hip. If you're not feeling anything or much, then you might opt to tilt the block underneath your sacrum one step higher or stack a second block above it. Then come back to that position and notice. So once you've found the right height for you of that block, let's hold this pose for about 5 to 10 breaths. As you press the mound of your left big toe forward, imagine your tailbone lengthening towards your inner left heel. And with each exhale, you might draw your right thigh even closer to your abdomen, the right side of your abdomen. And then take notice again of your mind, anything that comes up. Some thoughts may be so habitual that we don't even realize that we're thinking when they happen. The more we make it a practice to pay attention to our thoughts, we can really begin to take the reins of our mind and notice how much our thoughts affect us. So let's finish this breath. If your left leg is straight, bend your left knee again, place the foot on the ground for stability, lower your right foot on the ground. And then just pause here in a more neutral position for about 3 breaths. You might even place your palms on your 2 hip flexors. Keeping your right foot where it is. Now, if you tilted the block underneath a step higher, you may want to start with the lowest height as you begin the first side or the second side of this pose, just to give it a fair opportunity to let you know where it needs to go. And then bend your left knee into your chest, catching hold of your leg. To whatever degree is available, begin to straighten your right leg forward, keeping the heel on the floor, flexing your right foot, and keeping your right leg neutral so the knee and middle toe are pointing straight up towards the sky, not to the right. And then notice any sensations here. How's your body telling you what it needs? Perhaps on this side, this is plenty, or you tilt the block to the next height up, or you stack a second block. And as you find what's appropriate on this side, press the mound of your right big toe forward. Imagine lengthening your tailbone towards your inner right heel. Feel your 2 shoulders and your head resting down on the surface below. And with your exhales, you might draw the left thigh a little closer to your left lower abdomen. Down to about 5 more breaths. And again, in your mindscape, notice what you notice. As you feel ready, bending your right knee, step your right foot on the ground, and then set your left foot down and just pause here about 3 or so breaths. Maybe resting your palms onto the front creases of your hips. As I've learned in Qigong, we have energy centers at our hands as well. Now prepare to lift your legs up in the supported variation of shoulder stand. And that might require lowering the block if you've tilted it so that the base is narrower so you feel more stability. And if you still want height, you could stack 2 blocks with a wider base. And then lifting your legs up for about 10 breaths. Feel free to bend your knees any amount so this does not feel strenuous on your hamstrings. And you can completely relax your feet. You may like to rest your palms on your stomach here as that can feel grounding. Perhaps even breathe into your stomach. Let it gently rise on the inhale and soften down on the exhale, which helps to relax your nervous system even more as well as stimulate digestion. Feel the open space at your throat as you tilt your chin slightly away from your chest, inviting the natural curve at your cervical spine, your neck. So as you may have heard frequently as we practice concentration or dharana, the 6th limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, that what we focus on increases, what we focus on expands. In today's meditation practice, I'll offer an exercise taught by Dr. Henry Grayson in the Mindful Loving book I quoted. I'm using that information that what we focus on expands. So how can we choose what to expand as we monitor our thoughts? Right, Luke? So as you feel ready, start to bend your knees, gently place your feet on the ground. Maybe one by one lowering pelvis, removing a block from underneath. Until you're ready to completely lower your pelvis onto the floor. And maybe just take a moment to gently windshield wiper your shins together side to side and massage your glutes and sacrum on the ground. Taking slow breaths in through your nose and even slower breaths out through your mouth. You might even like to take some lion's breaths bit more, releasing, where you exhale with the mouth open wide, sticking out your tongue, releasing any sound. You could even roar it out if you like. Then draw your bent knees into your chest. Press your tailbone into the floor. Drop your chin slightly towards your chest as you ground your shoulders, and just hug in here while lengthening the back of your spine onto the ground. And then look around you and see what props might be useful to set your body up for a comfortable few minutes of stillness in corpse pose. Like a pillow underneath, backs of your knees, and help relieve tension in the lower back. A rolled up blanket, a cylinder crossing the mat underneath your shoulder blades can give the chest a bit of a lift to relax the fronts of the shoulders, in which you might bend the elbows apart so the arms look like a cactus as you rest your hands on the ground. Taking your time to set your body up lovingly. Once there, mentally scan from the bottom up, soles of the feet to the crown, and just feel into any last little adjustments you may need. Let your eyes close, let your breath flow freely.
Satchidananda Parabrahma Satchidananda Parabrahma
Allow your breath to gently deepen as you might rub your thumbs against your fingertips, easing into movements. Wiggling your toes, circling hands and feet, turning the head gently. No rush, take your time. Honor this inner stillness you've acquired so far. Moving your body in your own way as you feel ready. Gradually find a comfortable seat. If you'll recall, months back when we explored the yogic teachings of causes of suffering called kleshas, one of those main causes was misidentifying ourselves as the voice of our ego. And so the value of monitoring our thoughts allows us to remember that we are not the voice of our thoughts. Much of our thoughts, as is taught in neuroscience research, many of our thoughts are repeated, and many of them are that of conditioning. Whether conditioning from outside forces like culture and upbringing, or conditioning through coping mechanisms that we've adopted. So many of our thoughts are habits. And as we can pinpoint what those habits are, we can see how they affect us emotionally, physically, and in our relationships. And so that is the point of this meditation today, to bring you through some steps offered by Dr. Grayson in altering the thoughts that disturb our inner peace. As you come to sit, I invite you to allow a moment to situate yourself here in your body with your natural breath. As I've nudged you to observe any predominant habitual thoughts throughout this practice, you might already have one or two in mind. So I invite you to pinpoint one particular thought that you know is a tendency that causes inner disturbance. And so the first step is that, exactly that, to ask, what was I just thinking when it occurs? And now the second step is to literally say to yourself, there's one of those disturbing ego thoughts. There's one of those disturbing ego thoughts. In doing so, we cultivate an objective witness rather than identifying ourselves with the thoughts or as the ego voice. Now the third step is to remind yourself, if I focus on this, it will surely increase. and to ask yourself, do I want this to increase? Now, it might sound very simple or elementary, but really bringing that seed to question the thought, plant that seed in your unconscious mind. Let's come back to the breath. Step 4 is to say in your mind, I banish this thought, or whatever works for you in terms of word choice. Delete, cancel, stop. I dismiss this thought. And now the last step, step 5, is to quickly replace that empty space from deleting the thought with your chosen go-to affirmation. Now, it's good to have an affirmation already handy because the mind will quickly want to fill in the blank. So as you have that affirmation ready, you can just put it right in. Perhaps it's simply, I want peace, or I choose peace of mind. Something that resonates with you, something genuine. Or remind yourself, I am love. And as we sit for one last minute, releasing this practice, just observing the space that remains. Imagine the base of your spine, inhaling slowly from there up to your crown. Your palms meet at your heart as you exhale down the spine, bowing in towards your inner wisdom. Let's close this practice with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.